We're here at the Public Works Department where there has been speculation that there's contamination in the water that may be the cause of the salmonella outbreak that has been in Alamosa. And we are here with Dawn to further elaborate on what the Department of Health in Pueblo and the Public Works Department has come up with.
Okay, and actually the Department of Health in Denver was also very much involved with this. We just got the format of the warning that we'll be sending out very shortly, and the major portion of that reads as follows: do not drink the water from the tap. Bottled water should be used for drinking, making ice, washing dishes, brushing teeth, and food preparation until further notice. The water may contain bacteria or other disease-causing organisms, such as viruses and parasites, which can cause short-term effects, such as nausea, cramps, diarrhea, and associated headaches. People with severely compromised immune systems, infants, and some elderly may be at increased risk. The symptoms above are not caused only by the organisms in drinking water. If you experience any of these symptoms and they persist, you may want to consider medical advice. In terms of what actually happened is, because of the salmonella outbreak, we did some more extensive testing of what we typically do on a water system. And we pulled 10 particular tests from different areas throughout the system for something called a total coliform count. Now, total coliform only tells you there is a presence of coliform. It doesn't tell you what it is or whether or not it's even something that's harmful. But it's used as an indicator test to see if there may be something in the water that could potentially be harmful. One of those 10 tests did come back positive. We got that word back this afternoon. Because of that, the State Department of Health has determined that there's a possibility that salmonella is present in the system. I do want to clarify, salmonella has not been identified in the system yet. We're still conducting tests for that. Those tests take a while because you have to culture the organism. And as I recall, it's a 6-day culture period on this particular test, plus the ship time to the labs that has to take place. So we really won't have any results back from those tests probably until the early part of next week. The Department of Health folks from Pueblo are here. They are taking additional samples specifically for salmonella as opposed to a total coliform test. Regardless, rather than waiting until these tests come back one way or another, we will be starting chlorination of the system and then flushing system probably the next day or two. I would expect to start it probably late tomorrow. We do have a good bit of bottled water coming in, and we're looking at bringing in bulk waters as well. And as I get more information on those options, I'll certainly do everything I can to get that information out.
Up until the six-day point, would you recommend the city still drink bottled water?
Oh yes, definitely. That's what the advisory I just read said. Please drink bottled water from now until that point is here. There has been some confusion whether it's going to be a bottled water advisory or a boil water advisory. Because they feel they can get the bottled water here, when I say they, the state emergency agencies working on this, feel they can get the water here quickly, they're just going to skip the boil water advisory.
Now, there is word on the street that actually boiling the water will actually make it worse. Is that true?
Not to the best of my knowledge, no. The reason we're looking at a bottled water specifically, instead of just a boil water, which is normally what you would do for bacteriological contamination, the reason we're going to bottled water is because when we do the chlorination and we do the flushing system, we're going to be creating a lot of turbulence in the system and pulling some things out of nooks and crannies and whatever. And so while we're going through that process, we don't want people drinking that water. You can shower in it, those types of things, but anything that has to do with food preparation or drinking the water, use bottled water for that.
Outside of the local city market here in the San Luis Valley, the locals are quickly coming out of the store with their supply of water. As we have found out, the culprit in the salmonella case turns out to be the local water in the Alamosa area here. We caught up with a few of the people that were leaving the store that were lucky enough to get some water. It has been sold out in the Walmarts and the convenience store close by. City Market had a few pallets out here in front earlier, and they have now sold out, and it's all gone dry.
I was actually here at the store, and everybody was buying the water like crazy, and then then my father called.
Oh.
And while I was here, and he said, get some water, it's in the salmonella's in the water.
Anything that was left over and was cheap.
Anything left over and
Yeah.
cheap, but you got a little bit.
I got a little bit, just enough because I'm a teacher at the high school and we'll need something for tomorrow, so I bought enough to get us through the day.
I think you always have to take these types of things seriously. I mean, the last word I got, there are at least 35 cases, confirmed cases of salmonella. There are several other potential cases out there that have not been confirmed, but the outbreak of salmonella is real. Whether or not it's coming from the water, no, we're not sure, but we're going to be very careful until we know one way or another, and in fact, we're going to be very careful regardless. So yes, we have to take it seriously.